Perfect. We see people climbing in here. Just give us a second while we let everyone join. All right, we're going to begin with a brief video. Here we go, guys. Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar, Automated Order Operations at Wyze Labs, presented by Pipe17 in partnership with Amazon Multi-Channel Fulfillment and Wyze Labs. I'm Derek Haney from the Pipe17 team. Be sure to stick around until the end to find out how qualifying e-commerce businesses can get a Wyze Video Doorbell Pro on us. Now I'm going to pass it over to Mo to introduce himself and today's panelists. Mo, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Derek. Welcome, everybody. Huge welcome to everybody on this webinar today. I am so excited to have some great panelists with me today. I'm co-founder of Pipe17. And with that, I'd love to hand over to Logan. So Logan, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm Logan Dunn. I am the head of e-commerce, which is head of all of the D2C channels that we have. Been here at Wyze for about 4 years, and we've been Pipe17 customers for about 1.5 years now.
Excellent, thank you. Rotem, over to you.
Hey, thank you for having me. So my name is Rotem, and I lead technology partnerships for Amazon Multi-Channel Fulfillment, also known as MCF, and also I lead the Buy with Prime agency team. So basically, my team is working with order management software, e-commerce channels, ERPs, order management, and different tools and services that merchants use in order to manage their business. And we have the build integrations to MCF, so they can automate the fulfillment of their orders with Amazon Fulfillment Network. And I had the pleasure to work with Pipe17 for about 2 years. We actually have our anniversary this month. So happy to talk about the Wyze journey with Pipe17 and MCF.
Perfect, fantastic. Well, congrats to both of us on that. So with that, I'm going to say a few words just kind of about the e-commerce landscape and kind of what we're seeing and some of the challenges that we see merchants have, and then quickly move to the panel. So I think, look, it's pretty clear that e-commerce is still a thing. We have $5 trillion of sales, big percentage of retail, 20+% of retail sales. But as we're seeing that, I think whether you're a retailer or you're an emerging brand or you're an established brand, the same set of challenges prevail, which is you have the need to grow your business. So these days it's getting a little bit tougher to do that. So the need to do things like B2B and sell through retailers continues in order to grow your business. On the other side, of course, customer expectations are through the roof. And, you know, there was a recent survey I read that 61% of consumers want their stuff within 3 hours. So we have Rotem and the team at Amazon to thank, along with others. And then, of course, people need to save money. And, you know, saving costs is a big factor these days. So if you look at these 3 key factors, they put a lot of pressure on businesses, whether you're a retailer or a brand or any other e-commerce provider. And so as we kind of drill down into that, we see that the predominant problem here is really around what Pipe17 calls order operations. And that is, in fact, the title of this slide, which is Order Operations with Wyze. And what order operations is ultimately about is about collecting your orders from lots of different sources, whether they are your own .com, be it on Shopify or other platforms, on marketplaces, Amazon, and in fact, there are many others, retail, wholesale, you know, point of sale, B2B, etc. So collecting all those orders and then shuttling them into the right set of places. And this is getting harder and harder to do because there's big technology changes. For example, with composable, people swap out things like fulfillment providers and, you know, things like return systems all the time. There's a bit of vendor churn, and it's really hard to get a consistent view of where your business is, what inventory you have, what you're selling where. And, you know, that challenge makes it harder and harder as businesses grow, which basically leads to lost opportunity. So selling more across more channels helps everybody, and lost margins. So the problem ultimately becomes more and more prevalent as businesses scale. And hence we've got, you know, a great customer of ours to talk through how they've dealt with it. So next slide. And a quick 10-second plug on what we do. We have an order operations hub at Pipe17. And in one simple sentence, collect selling channels, which we've talked about a little bit, but online marketplaces, retail, point of sale, etc., to kind of the physical world. So think about it like fulfillment and 3PLs, and then systems of record on the other, ERPs, financials, and many other. And, you know, customers of ours include great brands such as Wyze, but also actually people who are within the ecosystem, some software providers, some fulfillment providers, but everybody's got a common goal: to make it easy for merchants to run their order operations. So with that, we're gonna learn a little bit more about Wyze. Not all of you will be aware who Wyze are and what they do. So with that,
hey, you know that I'm
just 1 second here. Well, I should change the screen share. We're going to watch a quick video about Wyze, one of Wyze's feature products. Really fun stuff. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. Make sure sound is on there. Here we go.
hey, you know that I'm yeah, I'm moving real smooth when I walk through the party. And if you don't know, well, ahora ya tú sabes. Lo suave, llámame. I got that suave. You know that I'm suave. I could do this all day. Look, yeah, I'm walk, swag, swish. Okay, we don't miss. They ask how we do it like that. Well, only one thing makes sense. Yeah, you know that I'm suave.
So fantastic. So with that, I'd like to welcome Logan once again. But before I do that, I was sharing a story with him. So yesterday I was actually in an office of one of our partners, which is a mid-market ERP vendor called Acumatica, and their VP of partners and I were chatting, and we suddenly realized that two things. One of them is we're having a fight about who was the earliest adopter of Wyze cameras. I think he won because he had 15 of them, I think, at the same time as I did. And the second thing is we're in the old Wyze office in Kirkland, which was always a funny story. So with that, I'd like to welcome Logan once again. So Logan, tell us about Wyze. You've built an amazing company and amazing brands. How have you done it? How have you managed to build the brand, the company, and the growth?
Yeah. So like I said, I've been at Wyze for about 4 years. Wyze is only 5.5 years old. So I've been here since the beginning, and we had, you know, we got really lucky by having a disruptive market, and that helped us grow just incredibly fast. We introduced the $20 security camera into the market at a time when home security cameras were, you know, $150, $200 a piece. And things really took off, got a lot of press, you know, and we just did our best to just keep up with operations, make our products, deliver them on time. And during that rapid growth phase, and I think it was mostly about just, can we make enough cameras? And then over the last few years, so I joined actually doing product marketing, and I would make videos like the one we just saw with the agency teams. Had a lot of fun, you know, bringing these products to market. And then I moved into a position as head of growth, worked on helping to grow our service subscription model. We attach a premium subscription to our cameras if people want it. We have a freemium version as well. And then I moved into the D2C space, running our D2C P&L with my team about a 1.5 years ago, a little over a 1.5 years ago. Man, it's flying by. Yeah, so that's a little bit about us. You know, I'm our co-founder, Dave Crosby. He's our CMO. He leads our team, and so I sit on a team with, you know, my counterpart runs our retail channels, and I run everything direct.
Perfect, fantastic. So I'm sure the audience is going to be super interested, so I'm going to ask you anyway. which is what have been the big growth drivers for your business? I mean, we work very closely together, so we've seen the amazing growth in your business from very early on. I'm sure people would love to hear just if you were a few tips and tricks around how you've managed to grow so aggressively and well.
Yeah, we actually started on Amazon. That was like, we created a product to compete with just whatever was available on Amazon at the time. And we started there. And the reason we did is because our co-founders are ex-Amazon employees. They left Amazon to do their own company. And anyway, we started there, but we quickly moved into direct-to-consumer. We saw the value in that. Direct-to-consumer is our largest channel, like largest single channel for Wyze. You know, early on when I first got to Wyze, I called up one of my friends and I asked him, I said, hey, like he works he was a VP of digital at a retail / e-commerce, but he handled the e-commerce side. I said, like, what are your biggest levers you pull? And really in e-commerce, you have three main levers. You have your traffic, you have your average order value, and then you have your conversion rate. And so I said, well, what do we need to do? And he was like, email. And he was like you need to make your email list just powerful. And really when he said email, he was talking a lot about just our direct customer relationships. And that's something we've really valued. We have a core value of being friends with our users. Like we just did our community appreciation day yesterday. And we have tried to really build a community, maintain a community, market to our community, and that's served us really well. We've actually been able to maintain low customer acquisition costs. And part of it, let's be honest, part of it was, you know, lightning struck for us. We entered with an innovative product at a needed time. And so we got a lot of press coverage. We maintained our press relationships, but really we do focus very directly on marketing and working with our customers.
I remember. I think the thing you mentioned around pricing, I won't mention, but we had cameras from another company that were, one of them broke. And I remember going online and the Wyze cameras were like $25 at the time, which was the first one you released. And I just could not believe it. I said, I've got to buy this. And it worked, and it worked so well. It was an amazing. Yeah,
actually, one of our early articles that was published, I think it was an article in The Verge. It might have been a PC Mag, I don't remember, but the author said, like, these Wyze cameras are too good to be true. And so that actually, we incorporated that into our customer experience value. So we have a value now that is create too good to be true products. You know, and anyway, the point there is like really make the amount of value you get out of a product far exceed the price. So it seems almost too good to be true.
Amazing, amazing. So let's kind of move a little bit to kind of operations. So we talked about this. So we talked about the growth. We talked about, you know, how you guys have done that and how you built your business. How have you managed your operations as you've grown your business?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, I mean, we started with our own, we did have a 3PL. We've never really done our own warehousing. I came from a company that did its own warehousing before, which was great. That worked fantastic at that company. That was our most cost-effective option. We had a local 3PL, and as we grew, we quickly grew out of that. And we weren't able to sustain that. We actually went over to and did a partnership with FedEx, and we did the FedEx third-party logistics, and they did like the packaging, shipping, all of that stuff. We even started with WooCommerce, like, you know, the commerce platform built on top of WordPress. And we transitioned quickly after like 1 year into Magento. We were on Magento for a while, and built our own custom connectors into our local 3PL. We used Orderdesk to connect Magento into FedEx. And that's kind of where we were. And we had a lot of black boxes, Mo, to be honest, like a lot of stuff we couldn't see, didn't know were problems. I mean, we'd hear customer complaints. I think the general like service rule of thumb is for every complaint you hear, there's 25 other people with that same complaint. So if you get 100 of the same complaint, right, you've got 2,500 different people with that same problem. And so we sought to improve our operations from the beginning. We have a team, we call it Lift team. that's our operations team. Lift, like they lift the company up. Their own internal company logo is the bicep emoji, and they focus on that. And really, a strong operations, like that is what buoys your company up, as seen by Amazon. And we brought a lot of the founding values of Amazon to our company since they came there, and the idea of the flywheel and how do you get your efficiencies. And Amazon is the same way. Like they started with a strong operational foundation, and then they moved into how to dominate the commerce space. And so we saw quickly with these black boxes, hey, we needed to upgrade and change our commerce stack. That's about when I came in, and we did a revamp of our commerce stack. We switched over to Shopify Plus. We quickly saw that our current connectors, like literally within like a month on Shopify Plus, we hadn't even fully transitioned over. We just started to get into panic mode. We're like, oh my gosh, these connectors, things aren't, like we're not getting what we need. And we switched, like we did our research right away, but we went over to Pipe17 like very quickly after that migration. And that was just solved a ton of our problems. We migrated to MCF from FedEx at about the same time. And a lot of that was due to our order SLAs to our customers. They were longer than we wanted. And we were looking to enhance our customer experience, right? Really be friends with our customers. And trying to get everything to work together was definitely complex. And that's been our big task. Like we did a total replace of our commerce tech stack over the last 12 months.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we've seen the pace at which you guys have been iterating, and we're talking earlier about like, the pace at which, vendors.
Yeah, you guys get to see exactly what we connect to. We connect everything to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We get to see all of it. So I guess as you look at it, and this is kind of a quick plug for us, but what have been some of the greatest benefits from a business perspective of you kind of partnering with Pipe17?
I mean, I think we're still seeing some of the big benefits come up, right? We're actually bringing on a new 3PL provider as kind of like a backup that we're working on. I mean, we are 95% probably Amazon MCF now. But the ability to bring on like a small partner to help ship certain products is really easy. Like we're hoping to be up to speed in under 3 weeks, probably 4 to 5 weeks if we include ship-in times to put some of our products over in that 3PL. And I mean, we have a fairly large operation. I mean, we'll do over 1 million orders this year. And so anything, like we have to automate. It's kind of like automate or die. And that was one of the main reasons we went over. I have a team member, Eric Morris. He's phenomenal. He's a principal technical lead. He's the guy you primarily work with, right? He's the one who actually researched different order management systems and finally settled on Pipe17. I know you brand yourself as much more than order management, of course, but the order management aspect of your platform seemed to meet our needs. Eric was like, we've got to do this. Like, we need to automate. We have to get rid of these inefficiencies. And to be honest, we were able to cut our operations overhead in half just by reducing the need for headcount. And we were able to implement quicker. And the biggest thing, I think, Mo, was uncovering the black boxes. Like seeing like, oh my gosh, what? Like this is happening. Like we went from average 7-day click to delivery average with many between the 7 and 14 day range to with Amazon MCF and Pipe17, how we have it all connected right now. Our latest quarterly business review was 3.3 days click to delivery. And that's standard ground, right? I mean, obviously it's faster if they choose faster options, but standard ground, 3.3 days. That's pretty amazing.
That's amazing. Good. So thank you, Logan. So I'm going to segue to Rotem here a little bit. So you mentioned MCF a few times, and look, I hadn't heard of MCF, when we got to know what it was about, and many customers haven't, but obviously it's been a critical part of your business and your operations. So with that, I wanted to kind of maybe bring Rotem in. Rotem, what is it?
Logan, it's so nice to hear like your success story with MCF. So yeah, I'll give a kind of overview of what it is. In many ways, we give merchants to use the power of Amazon Fulfillment Network in their business outside of Amazon. So Amazon Multi-Channel Fulfillment is a 3PL that enable merchants to use our fast and reliable shipping speed if it's on their websites, other sales channels where they're selling, social commerce. So we basically open the door for a very scalable and well-oiled machine that now they can use to delight their merchants, their shoppers. So we know that fast shipping and reliable shipping is a key in shopper experience. And when you make a decision if to buy something or not, you see it especially around holidays or special events, but also with specific products. So if now I ran out of dog food and I know that I need it in 2 days, and I see a promise date on the website that says that I will get it in 2 days, it will help me make a decision to make a purchase. Otherwise, I might go otherwhere to look it up. So basically, companies like Wyze can connect to us with companies like Pipe17 and start to route orders to our fulfillment centers. And if we move to the next slide, it's kind of like a quick view of how it looks like. So merchants, we know that about 70% of Amazon sellers at least are selling on one additional sales channel, if not more. So if they have the website and different marketplaces and social commerce, they connect all their sales channels to a connector like Pipe17. So Pipe17 would just sit nicely between the green part and the blue part there. This goes to Amazon Multi-Channel Fulfillment. We pick, pack, ship, and deliver the item all the way to the shopper. Provide tracking numbers that goes to Pipe17 if you order your management over there, and all the way to the original point of sale. So if, for example, it will be Shopify Plus, we will shoot back a tracking number to Shopify so everyone will know that it was fulfilled. MCF as a 3PL is behind the scene, meaning you own, as a merchant, the experience with the shopper, the relationship with them, you charge them. We are not involved in the way you manage your business. Another cool feature that we launched is unbranded packaging and opt-out for Amazon tracking numbers. So if a merchant, for example, buy an item on a website, he doesn't expect to get an Amazon box in his mail. So we will ship it in an unbranded packaging without Amazon logo, without insert or anything like that. And if the merchant is selling in a sales channel that doesn't know how to handle Amazon tracking numbers, we can also opt out from this. And in this case, we will provide a tracking number, which is a bit more generic. And an interesting fact is that we meet the promise date that we say to shoppers at least 97% of time. And we fulfill orders 7 days a week, which is a huge advantage.
Yeah, that's huge for us, actually, to bring in the weekends. That was actually a big reason or a big way in how we got the click to delivery down.
Yeah, and it's also meet the expectations that shoppers have, especially if they used to buy on Amazon, get the promise date, know that they will get it on time. And I'll even touch a bit more about why it makes sense for a company like Wyze, and Logan, keep me honest here. So Wyze, for example, starts selling on Amazon.com, and they use the FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon, to fulfill their orders, meaning in this case, we already have their inventory. Now, Wyze wanted to establish their D2C business or selling on other channels, testing social commerce. And instead of going and looking for another 3PL or another warehouse, keep another set of inventory, which costs a lot of money, or do their boxes on their own, negotiate rate with carrier on their own. They told Amazon, you do what you do best, we'll do what we do best. So you'll deal with all our pick, pack, and ship services. And in that way, you can keep one pooled inventory. So we really reduce on cost here. And by working with MCF, Wyze, first of all, maintain balanced inventory levels instead of investing too much working capital on inventory, instead of putting it on ads and growth. They were able to reduce out of stock rates, which in general, we see that when you use FBA and MCF, basically when you use Amazon Fulfillment Network with one pooled inventory to serve all your sales channels, you can reduce out of stock rate by about 13%, which is meaningful because it's increasing your revenue in the end of the day. And as Logan mentioned, they were able to improve click to delivery by over 50%, that it's more than half. And this is something that also helps you to get return shoppers, best reviews. So this is kind of like some of the highlights that we see.
Excellent, good. And I know I've talked to Logan on this as well, but I think Logan, you guys use something called Buy with Prime as well, right?
Yeah, which is available to any merchants who are on either MCF or Amazon's third-party seller program. So it doesn't sync with the first-party seller like if you sell direct to Amazon, but it does work with like Seller Central or MCF. And so we do it. One really unique thing that we do as well with Buy with Prime and MCF is we have a lot of products that aren't on Amazon that we distribute through here. So we do our spare parts now through MCF. It's enabled us to open a spare parts store, which helps reduce customer service costs. And they can get spare parts right away, right? And that also, like we do these now with Buy with Prime, which allows Prime customers. It's basically a button that's like a checkout button on your site where if the items are in the Amazon warehouses, Amazon can show estimated delivery date that's usually 2 days because it actually does use expedited shipping. It is only for Prime customers at this point, at least. And when they check out, they get all the benefits of Prime. They get the Prime Promise, Prime Fast Shipping, all of that stuff. And Amazon with Buy with Prime, they cover your customer support and return costs. I mean, the units are the units, right? If the unit gets returned, you get the unit, but they cover the related customer support costs and return shipping costs as well. And of course, there's a small fee associated with that, but we've seen a lot of success with that program. We did an A/B test on that, saw about a 25% conversion rate increase, and moved, even more inventory out of, I should say, MCF. So it's been good.
They can all powered by Pipe17.
Yeah, actually, and I did just want to really quick, I know we're getting short on time here, Mo, but we're doing some really cool things with Pipe17 right now as well, which I think, like, if I were an attendee of this webinar, I'd be like, okay, like, tell me a little bit more, like what you're trying to do. So we do connect like the Shopify, which is our primary order, and our app is connected to the Shopify platform. And that goes from Pipe17 to MCF. But we are doing a couple other cool things we've been able to work out. We connected our TikTok shop, which is the ability to buy from TikTok. We're working on connecting that direct into Pipe17 right now, and circumvent the Shopify so that we're not going, one system to the next system, like the hopping. If we run out, to what Rotem said, if we run out of our Amazon 1P inventory on an ASIN on Amazon, we're connecting the fulfillment by merchant channel in, which allows us then to basically sell as a merchant on listings to help cover inventory gaps, because 1P Amazon owns, 3P we own. We're looking at potentially partnering with dropship vendors. We actually have done some quick partnerships with dropship vendors, but we're looking at creating integrations that allow us to ship MCF inventory from dropship portals, which is super appealing to dropship vendors because they are like, how fast can you get it to me or to the customers? So those are some of the things that I think are cool that we're doing that enable our D2C to spread a little bit more, that we might not do if we had to take extra effort to manage APIs, maintain their integrity, make sure everything's going. And then the other really cool thing that we're doing is we're using the Snowflake connector with with Pipe17 to bring all of our Pipe17 data in to Snowflake, and we built our own dashboards. Oh yeah, that's right, you've got them in here. So this is our dashboard created in Snowflake, and this is straight Pipe17 data. And what we have in here, we have how many days old are shipments, and this helps us quickly see, like, those black box I mentioned. We can quickly see the black boxes, like what gets held in exception, what's long, like what's going too long. Down at the bottom left, we do it by SKU, so we can see which SKUs might be an exception, which helps us also find out of stocks faster. We get to monitor and watch delivery speeds. We keep an eye on those. We get to look. Go to one more forward, Mo. We also pull the same data into a Tableau report. This is an operational efficiency report that we do. And this, again, it's all Pipe17 data, but we pull in like our weeks of coverage. We look at split shipments. We look at split shipments among carriers, across 3PLs. And so we've been able to reduce costs by just tackling problems as they come in. And we use, like I said, that Pipe17 data in our own warehouse.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Logan. One of the big things about data warehousing projects in general is how do you get access to the data, and how do you set up the schema, and then how do you run reports of it. And of course, the great thing about the Pipe17 connector that we have for Snowflake and Amazon S3 and Redshift and others is that it enables you guys to just turn it on, get the data in there, and then run your report. So instead of taking 3 to 6 months to do it, you could do it in a week or two.
I will say the Snowflake was like a nice surprise, because we bought you for order management, right? But this is where you do more. It also allows us from our accounting standpoint to connect to our system of record, which we use NetSuite, but so that we can book sales on ship dates rather than on order. And so again, it helps us just be a little more efficient and not maintain connectors to get our D2C data into our ERP.
As well. No, fantastic. That is great. So Derek, if you move to the next slide, just to summarize, I think these are kind of some of the things that you shared with us, Logan, so we'll put them on a slide. But if you want to say a few words on this, but generally reduction in click to deliver speed, clearly it was probably more significant than 50%. And of course, the fulfillment cost and, quick. If you want to add any color, happy to add.
No, I mean, it kind of says it all. I mean, 50% is not even, I mean, that's like a conservative estimate, because we were going averages to averages. But I would say like 90% of our customers are like 2-day. We now get customers get 1 day, just normal ground speed if you're in major metropolitan areas. So overall customer experience, we get a lot of customer comments too, just about their, like they notice it, right?
Yeah, precisely.
So it's been pretty great.
We do fantastic. And next slide, Derek. And all of it is enabled by the Order Operations Hub at Pipe17. So with that, I'm going to hand over to you, Derek, while we're gathering questions, just to talk about the offer, and then we'll move to questions.
Awesome. And we've already got some great questions coming in here, so I won't take too much of your guys' time. If you are interested in learning more about Pipe17 and talking with an integrations consultant to connect your ERP, 3PLs, and selling channels, we're going to launch a little poll here, and you can hit yes to answer the poll, and we'll have a team member follow up with you shortly. Or you can simply visit pipe17.com/contact us to get in touch with the team. We've already got some yeses coming in. That is amazing. Thank you guys so much. And of course, for those that aren't ready yet, we're happy to wait until you get the other systems in place, like Amazon multi-channel fulfillment or the like. Regardless of whether you decide to go with Pipe17 or not, if you attend this demo, you will get a Wyze Video Doorbell Pro, $94 value, sent from us to you simply for attending that meeting. Thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to these questions. I'll pass it back to you, Mo.
Perfect. Very good. So, so with that, Logan and Roten, we have time for a few questions. So, Logan, this is for you. How do you transition your brand off Amazon? Roten, plug your ears. It's something I'm dealing with now. What was the most efficient yet compliant way you move these customers off to your own marketing site?
So I think Roten would agree with what I'm going to say. Is we don't transition them off of Amazon. We see D2C as a separate channel. So Amazon brings in more new customer stuff. It's a discovery platform for shopping. I mean, people will return purchase. Amazon does that a lot too, but the sheer volume of Amazon allows us to have more new customers. We use D2C primarily in our flywheel as the repeat purchase mechanism. Now we have a little bit of an unfair advantage, right? If you buy a Wyze product, you sign up in the app. And we get to say, okay, these are now our customers. We're able to identify customers. They can opt into emails, and we have the ability to make that really powerful connection there. But I would say you don't necessarily want to transition off. D2C is a separate channel and should have separate purposes. Let Amazon do what it does for its marketplace, and then use your D2C to tackle different areas. Not to compete with Amazon. And that's how we do it. I'll say that. I
agree that the point of view is growing the pie. Because otherwise, if you move money from one pocket to another, you're not increasing your revenue. So you're growing the pie, and that's also why Amazon is externalizing fulfillment network to support your off-Amazon business. Amazon Pay you can now use on your website, and different services that we felt that are good enough to externalize. Now you can use Prime on your website. So all of those tools should help you to increase your overall revenue and to delight your customers off and on Amazon. If shoppers will have bad experience on your website, they also won't buy it on Amazon.com.
Yeah, I will say one little pro tip. So Buy with Prime they do share the customer email because the customer's checking out on your site. So you get the customer information back as if they were to normally check out on your site. That's the only program where you actually get customer information with Amazon. So that at least lets you attract Prime customers, and then you can retarget Prime customers through your own D2C. But again, Buy with Prime is not really a discovery platform, right? That's Amazon. Your D2C, you have to use, ads, email, remember that lever, the traffic lever, like that's your job in D2C. Where are you going to get that traffic? Don't peel it from Amazon. Go find other places. That's my recommendation.
Perfect. Very good. One more very interesting question, given the transitions you've had, is why did you come off WooCommerce?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just scale. Like, it just is not meant for large merchants. Again, we're doing 1 million orders a year. I mean, there are people that are going to argue and say, no, WooCommerce can do that. Sure. But like the amount of tools, and that's actually one of the reasons why we went off Magento. Magento is meant to scale too. But for us, with our team and the efficiencies, we went to Shopify Plus because we felt like that was the ability to scale inside of a closed system that, like, we've had 100% uptime with Shopify Plus. I'm pretty pleased with it, but scale is the main reason.
Yeah, fantastic, very good. And then there are a few questions really around MCFs, which is, I think, primarily for Logan. But basically, obviously, some merchants have hesitation around using MCF, right, for various reasons. And it might be interesting for you to share some of those. And I think how have you been positively, or in fact not, be surprised by the experience? Because I'm sure you went through this maybe.
We did, yeah. I actually think I'm in a webinar where I'm like, we're testing MCF. We don't really, we're still learning at the time. I mean, our hesitations were like, are we giving Amazon data into our overall, like, this is our D2C profile, this is our shipping profile, this is what we're doing. We're giving them customer addresses and things. And I mean, we brought that to MCF and we talked with them about it. And we felt assured enough from the MCF system standpoint that, they're not going into your data from a competitive, like how to compete with you standpoint. And I think like you can see the general direction of what Amazon's doing with the idea of the Buy with Prime program, right? They're saying we have Amazon, we attract people to Amazon, whatever percent of customers shop on Amazon, but there's still a lot of customers that shop D2C. So they're, rather than try and like pull people away from your D2C, they're trying to build something, which is the Buy with Prime product that allows people to get the benefits of Amazon on your own D2C site, right? So it's kind of a different approach, I think, that they're trying to take, that also makes me feel like, yeah, I think it's okay. And I mean, they probably already have all of the addresses. And I mean, I don't think my US profile is going to be much different. Like Amazon probably already has every single customer that I have. And so in the end, we're like pretty low risk. And in their policies, I mean, they promise certain, they give certain assurances about data sharing and things like that.
I'll add a quick note. Yeah. So for example, in Wyze case, and in many cases, merchants are using an order management software like Pipe17 to send us orders. So when that happens, and Mo can probably say more because he owns the integration with us, we only get the name of the shopper and where do we need to send it to and by when. So we don't get email address, phone number, the value of the order, how much the shopper pays for it. We don't get any of that, and we don't even get the origin of the order. So when we get an order from Pipe17 to fulfill, we don't know if it was a Shopify, an eBay, an Etsy order, because it doesn't go through the APIs from the order management software to our side, which really limits the data sharing to what we need in order to do the service. On the Buy with Prime side, it's slightly different because we enable Prime shoppers to check out on the website. So obviously we have the Prime information because they are our Prime members. but then we just let them do the checkout on your website instead of sending them to Amazon.com.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. There's one question. I think we only have time for, I mean, we've run over, but maybe time for a couple of questions. One is generally about shipping costs. So this is, I think, something that people think about just in terms of when you use traditional 3PLs, how much of it do you surface to your customer? How much of it do you not surface to customer? Logan, what's your general philosophy on this? Because every brand, obviously, shipping costs is a big part of their margin.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that question earlier on. I was thinking about it. So, I mean, there's a lot. We could spend an entire webinar just talking about setting up a P&L and how to do shipping costs. And, you know, I think the trend that I see on the web is that people are moving away from real-time shipping quoting. Like if you go look at major retail, the truth is you want to penalize your customer. I mean, this sounds okay. Take this, like, understand. Like we want to be friends with our users, but listen to me, the whole thing before you take it out of context. You have to penalize your customers for placing low value orders, and that's shipping. But you don't want to be like over the top, like that's called it's called punitive pricing. That's what shipping is, right? It's seen as like a penalty, a punishment, right? And then you want to work up to enable them to, at certain order points, get free shipping, right? So that's really your goal, is create larger carts, right? Average order value, right? Also conversion rate. I found that direct shipping quotes will hurt your conversion rate a lot. So we moved to a flat rate plus free model. And we did a bunch of A/B testing on this. We used to build product shipping into our cost. And we've actually seen items per order overall revenue increases. We've done that. So that's my recommendation. Now, my previous company, we did live quoting. We were a B to small b. We sold packaging to like Etsy shop owners. And the real-time shipping quoting works different for that industry. We went that route and tried to keep our on-site prices competitive because that's how the industry was as well. So I think that's, like, without going too much deeper, that's my recommendation. It also makes your P&L a lot easier to manage because you start to just, you build in your cost into your P&L. You don't build in your revenue into your P&L. Your shipping revenue is its own line on the P&L. It's not in your product P&L. You should really look to be profitable to a certain degree on your product without shipping revenue. That's my opinion. Use your shipping revenue as merchandising support to your website.
Perfect. I think that's great advice. And I think one final question, and then maybe some final thoughts from each of you before we close. This is kind of a big picture thing, and it's for Logan, is how did your brand story play a role for you to directly connect with your customers? And this has been so powerful for you guys. I mean, that brand story.
Yeah, this has been, I think that's like the big thing, like going back to that question about moving off of Amazon, right? Or really building a D2C business. It's based around what you offer your customers, your brand, you know, whatever you're standing for, it has to resonate with the customers. And so for us, it's been the too good to be true products. You know, we've tried to take a different approach to our marketing, you know, being a little tongue in cheek, a little more fun. You can go see one of our first marketing videos was a Cyclops talking about this home security market. It's a pretty funny video. Go check it out. But, you know, but then it comes down to, like, what do you really care about? Being friends with our users. Yeah, we've made a ton of mistakes where it hasn't been super friendly to our customers. And we try and fix those mistakes, do better. I mean, that's, to me, the reason why we chose MCF as a partner, was because we felt like being friends to our customers is really giving them better order, you know, like get their order to them quicker, give them more visibility to their orders. You know, it's improved customer experience. You know, we try and maintain low margins on our site. That's part of our brand. It's been essential to growing Wyze. And for us, I mean, the way we price with MCF, with, you know, how we do our on-site pricing, everything, you know, it makes sense. And we try and get them to order more because it costs us less. We try and give them deals for incentivizing the things that cost less and passing those costs on to their customers, and trying to keep our margins low on our side. And that, I mean, that works for us. It works for our business model too. We have a subscription business, you know, and we could spend a whole nother webinar talking about marketing funnels and how we do that. But brand story has just been huge for us, really being friends with our users, creating too good to be true products, and sticking to those guns.
Yeah, that's been amazing. So I guess maybe kind of 30-second final thoughts from each of you. in general as to Rotem first. So any final thoughts on that?
I think that's something that worked well for Amazon, and we, like, at least in my team and in the Rotem part of like we see daily, like to work backwards from your customers. So to really think what they need, not just what benefit your business, because then maybe you will develop something, a service or a process that doesn't work and doesn't benefit them. So really think about what they need end to end. If it's the way the product should look like, be packaged, and the price, the way you wanted to ship it to them, if they need speed or not, if they need 2 days or 3 to 5 days, and then build your business model and product and service working backward from their needs. And I think that this is like a key point to a successful service or product or company.
Perfect, fantastic. So Logan, any final thoughts before we close?
I mean, I agree with Rotem, especially from a D2C standpoint, right? If you're just building products for the general retail, you focus more on that working backwards from solving the product problem. But when you're doing your own D2C business, and the actual end-to-end experience is owned by you, it's really important to work backwards there. But to me, I would say when it comes to operations in e-commerce, automate as much as you can. And if you plan on growing, which everyone should, the more automations you get in early on, the better off you will be as you go, because scale provides a host of problems, good problems sometimes, but also really challenging things to tackle. And we felt that the hard way, scaling so fast. So I guess just the 30-second, TLDR version in my mind is just look for ways to automate early on, even if you can do it manually, because you'll thank yourself later.
No, definitely. I think we're all for automation and efficiency and getting your operations in sync across your different systems, whether it's financials, ERP, selling channels, and fulfillment, etc. So anyway, I want to offer huge thanks to both of you. Logan, thank you so much for helping us with the webinar today and really sharing your story, because this has ultimately been about you and the amazing company and brand that you guys have built, and a lot of great anecdotes for people who've been attending. And thank you so much to Rotem for also really providing the context around how you partner with Wyze in particular and help them scale their business. So with that, thank you very much for all the attendees and the production crew, and we'll close off the webinar. So thanks, everybody. Thank you, panel.
Thanks, everyone.
For having us.
Bye.